Hello everyone and welcome. In today's lesson, we're going to show you how you can create automated emails every 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a SharePoint list. If you have any questions, just type it in the chat. So I'm going to go to a new list. List. I'm going to call this list My Projects. All right, so I'm going to add a couple columns. All right, so let me just create a title. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna add a column. Uh, we use date and time. I'm gonna call this column 3 month. I just want the date, not the time. Add another column. Call this 6 month. Add another one more column. Call it 12 month. All right, so I'm gonna give this project name. Let's call it um, inventory management app. Let's put a date in here. Now I'm just gonna put any random date, but this, you should have, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months from the due date for each of these. I'm gonna create one more app name or project name. call this painting the kitchen. Date. All right. So we have our project, have our dates. Exit grid view. So it saved our changes. Now what I want to do is create a scheduled flow. So I'm gonna go to Power Automate. Here I'm in Power Automate. I'm going to create a brand new flow. So I'm going to go to Create. I'm going to choose a scheduled cloud flow. I'm going to call this flow Email Reminders. This flow is going to start on today's date, and it's going to run every day at 10 a.m. I'm going to hit Create. Let me go to the old designer. All right, so we have this reoccurrence. I'm going to click inside of it, go to Advanced Options. So I want to change the time zone, make sure whatever time zone you're in, you set it. I'm on the Eastern time zone, so I'm going to set it to that. Like I said, this flow is gonna run once a day, starting at 10 a.m. All right. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Get Items. And that's a SharePoint flow right here, or SharePoint action. Sorry. The site address, just select it from the drop down. I have a test site, and the list name is called My Projects. All right. So the next step is I'm going to create a compose action. And this compose action, I'm going to call it 3-month. And in the inputs section, I'm going to choose value from get items. So it's going to look at all the values in the SharePoint list that we selected. Okay. All right. The next step, I'm going to choose another compose. And I'm going to call this convert 3-month. All right. In this compose, I'm going to, I'm sorry, on this compose here, I need to choose the 3-month column. Right here, 3-month column. All right. Now, when I did that, notice they put it in the apply to each action. Let me get rid of this. So we're in apply to each. It's just a 3-month compose, looking at the 3-month column in our SharePoint list. Now I'm going to create another compose, and this is going to convert or make sure the 3-month column is a date column. So I'm going to call this convert 3-month, and I'm going to use an expression. I'm going to type in format, date column, type in outputs, and I'm going to reference the compose statement before, just before this one, which was called 3-month. I'm going to format it with the month dash a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. Okay. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can see. All right. So we have that. Now the next step we're going to do is we're going to convert our date and make sure it's Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to use another compose. Whoops, hold on. Compose. I'm going to rename this and call it current date. And in the input section, I'm going to choose expression. I'm going to make sure our current date is in the same date format. So I'm going to say convert from UTC. Type in UTC now, comma, your time zone minus Eastern Standard Time. comma, 2-digit month dash 2-digit day dash 4-digit year, and press OK. I'll put this in the chat. So we have our 3-month. This is the date column in our SharePoint list. Then we're converting our 3-month column, making sure it's the right date format. Then we're getting the current date and making sure that's the same format as the date before it. Now that we have those, we're going to do now is we're going to subtract this date from this date. So I'm going to do another compose. I'm going to call this date difference between 3-month and current date. To the expression, type in if equals outputs so if equals outputs current date comma outputs convert 3-month comma 0 comma int comma split comma date difference outputs convert 3-month comma outputs current date so I have single quotes with a period in between and in brackets a 0 and in close parentheses at the end. So I'm going to put this in the chat as well. All right, so the next step I'm going to do, remember this is going to get the difference between the 3-month and the current date. So now I'm going to select a condition. In this condition, I'm going to choose outputs. So that's going to be the difference between 3-month and current date. Outputs, if it's equal to 0, meaning that if the date difference is 0 between 3-month and the current date, meaning that if they match, then I want to send an email. So I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to choose send an Outlook email. So I'm going to send it to myself. I've got to get my email address. Hold on a second. All right, I've got it now. So I have my email address. Subject, I'm going to call this 3-month email reminder. And I could say, this is your reminder that 3-month project is due. All right, so now I'm going to save this flow. And let me go back to SharePoint. All right, so we're back in SharePoint. Now, since I have the 3-month column, I have dates for 12/20/2024 and 12/21/2024. So it will fire off automatic emails when the current date reaches these dates. So we want to test it. So I'm going to change this first date so it has the current date. All right, so today's date is the 23rd. All right, so we should get an email because the 3 month, there's a date in the 3 month column that matches the current date. Go to exit grid view. And let me go back to SharePoint or Power Automate. Okay, we've did our flow checker. We don't have any errors. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to test it, do a manual test. All right, so I heard that I should receive an email. So let me go. Share my screen. All right, so I received the email. Says this is your reminder that the 3 month project is due. Now let me go to Power Automate, and I want to modify our email message. All right, so back in Power Automate, I'm going to edit down here at the bottom. I want to put the project name in here. All right, it's due for right here, get items, this project. This is a reminder that the 3 month project is due for, and it has the title of the project. So let's save it and run the flow again. All right, we received an email. Let's check it. So here, this is your reminder that the 3 month project is due for the inventory management app. That was the name of our project name. So we were able to get the 3 month flow working. Now we can do the same thing for 6 and 12 months. So let me go back to Power Automate. All right, so I'm gonna go to edit. Now this entire area right here, it says apply to each. I'm going to create a scope. So type in scope. Right here, scope control, and put the apply to each. Let's see. Oh. So I put the apply to each, all the items in the apply to each inside of this scope. And I'm going to call this 3-month. Okay. So now that we have that, to get the 6-month, all I need to do is go to the 3 dots into the scope and choose copy to my clipboard. Go to new step, go to my clipboard, paste the 3-month control. Now we have 2 scopes. I'm going to rename the second one, call this one 6-month. Okay. And we just need to edit this scope, or the actions in this scope, so it looks at everything for 6 months. So I'm going to rename this, call this 6-month. Go inside the compose, make sure it's looking at the 6-month column, not the 3-month. And do the same thing for all of these compose actions. And call this convert 6-month. So this is going to look at the 6-month action. Current date 2, we'll leave that. So we're always going to get the current date no matter what time frame we're looking at. All right, I'm going to rename this. Actually, we can make sure that this is updated. Yep. So this is going to be 6-month. Six-month. All right, and condition. Condition's good. This subject here is going to be 6-month reminder. It's going to say 6-month, and we're going to keep that same title name. All right, so we have our 6-month. So I could copy the scope for the 6-month to my clipboard. Go to my clipboard, select 6-month, and rename 6-month to 12-month. Just make sure that all these are updated. See, we need to change this from 6 to 12. Make sure all these say 12, not 6. That looks good. Update. Current date 3, that's fine. Let's look in here. This needs to be changed to 12-month. All right. Condition stays the same. The email needs to be changed. So it says 12-month. This says 12-month. And that's it. Hit save. No errors. So now we have set up our flow for each of the columns: 3-month, 6-month, 12-month.